Well, howdy there, folks. How's it going today? I hope you're all doing really good. Well, I'm in the shop here today, and I haven't made it back to the studio, but I did want to say thank you to everybody that commented and watched the past 3 videos of me tagging guitar cases, trying to organize my collection a little bit. I really do appreciate that. So today what I'm going to do is I'm just kind of getting some pieces and parts laid out here for a project that I'm going to build. And what I'm going to build is something so I can revoice pickups using different capacitors. And, you know, there's videos on this. I'm not the first guy to invent this or anything. I'm just going to do mine a little different. Most people will mount them in a stomp box. I'm going to mount mine in a vintage Sears silvertone, like a little desktop radio here. It's all gutted out. It had one speaker in it and plenty of room for wires. And I want mine to be kind of a benchtop version. We'll get to that in a second, but I don't want to keep kneeling down on the floor and turning the switch, and I'll be worn out by the time I find the right capacitor. Okay, so let's get to a brief explanation of how this is going to work. Okay, so basically what's going to happen is you're going to plug your guitar into it, and you're going to come out of the other jack and go wherever you want. Now, I'll try to describe that in a little more detail in a minute. So what we're going to end up using is a single pole, single throw, 12-gang rotary switch. They click when you turn them, and every time you turn it, it goes to a different terminal. Okay, there's 12 of them, and there's one in the center, and that's your hot. So basically, this is kind of what happens. If you look at this little sketch I have on the bench here, this thing we're looking at here is basically this switch. You're looking at the bottom of it, so it'd be sitting kind of like this. All right, I can't get it to stay there, but what happens is this. You're going to plug your guitar into a jack. These are jacks, okay? The little thing bent over is where the tip of your cord hits. This little circle hits the sleeve. So you got a ground and you got a hot on the tip, okay? So what you're going to do basically is there's 2 connections on the jack. One goes to the tip, one goes to the sleeve. Now what we're going to do is just jump a wire from the tip terminal over to the other tip terminal to the other jack. Same with the grounds. We're going to come off this jack, off the ground. We're going to hit the other jack where the ground lug is. Okay, so that's wired in series, I believe. So it doesn't matter which one you plug into. It's going to send that signal to the either jack, either way you do it. Okay, so what we'll have next is this. We're going to take the hot lead, okay, that goes to the tip, to the other jack, and we're going to tag into that with another wire, and we're going to come up to a switch, okay? And then the switch has 2 lugs. It's just an on-off. From the other side of the switch, we're going to go to the center of this rotary switch, which is the hot, okay? And then what we'll end up doing is this. We're going to take, this is what a lot of guys do. I've seen a few different videos of this. So what you'll do is take a capacitor. You're going to solder one leg of the capacitor to the terminal. Every terminal is going to have a different valued capacitor. Okay, so once you get it soldered onto the terminal, the other leg needs to go to ground. So what a lot of guys will do is take a piece of bare wire, okay, and they'll make a ring, and then they'll solder each leg of the capacitors to the switch, and this ring that goes around it will be bare wire, and they'll just hit the other leg to the bare wire, which would be this, okay? This is representing the center of the rotary switch, the hot. The circle will kind of represent the ring of bare wire. These little marks represent capacitors, okay? So we're going to tag off that ring, if that's the way we're going to do it, and then go from ground. We're going to hook a wire on that ring, which will be ground, and we'll hit that down to the ground on the jack, okay? This is really simple. So I've already made up the first section. I have the jacks wired together, and I have a switch tagged into the hot. And then from there, we'll have to tag a wire on the other side and hit this pot right in the center, okay? And then just, like I just showed you, just hook capacitors to the terminals and then ground the other leg. So what I'm going to do is going to be a little different. Obviously, I'm mounting it in an old clock radio or whatever this thing is. So, but in any case, like I said, I want to have a bench version. So what I'm going to end up doing is soldering a short piece of wire onto each one of these terminals, okay? Every one of them will get a short piece of wire, maybe an inch, inch and a half long. Okay, and then I'll strip that end, all right? And then I'm going to hook one of these Wago connectors. So I showed you guys these before. They use them for house wire. You can use them for anything. You flip this lever up, stick a wire in that hole, and stick a wire in that hole. When you close them, they're clamped, and now they're connected. So it's just basically a reusable connector. So I want to be able to change the capacitors without a soldering gun, just to make it easier for me. So what I'm going to do, again, I'm going to have a short piece of wire soldered to the terminal on the switch. Everyone's going to get one. I'm thinking I'll probably make them like 2 inches, roughly, something like that. So once that wire is hooked to one of those terminals, we'll put a connector on it, okay? We'll shove that into a connector. It's hard to do on camera and talk at the same time. So anyway, let me flip the lever up and we'll get it locked in. Just for ease of description here. Okay, so once the wire's in, you snap it down, give it a little tug, you know it's on there. So again, we got a short wire soldered to each one of the terminals. And then that wire is going to get one of these. All 12 of them will have one of these connectors on it. The next thing I'll do is I'll stick one leg of the capacitor into that clip. Clamp it, right? Now, the other end of it, I'll use like a 5-gang Wago. So you can put 5 wires in. You could put 2 or 3 wires in one hole if you're using, electronics wire and stuff like we use for guitars. So once that's connected in there, that will be connected to a ground, and they'll all be connected to a ground. If I have to jump and maybe use 2 or 3 of them, I will. It really doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, what I'll be able to do is unhook the capacitor. Like I said, we'll have one end of this wire, okay? We're going to stick the capacitor in the clip, and then we'll go to a ground clip. So if this capacitor doesn't really work for me, I'll be able to take it out without soldering, put a different one in there. I'm going to write a number on the back of each one of these so I can see which one it is, and I think that'll be pretty slick. It'll just save me from putting the soldering iron on this thing to change it, make things a lot quicker. So that's what I'm up to. That's my vision, at least. Hopefully it works out well and everything works. I may put an LED light in here too. Just hook it to a battery or something. Just for the vibe. Anyway, I will document this whole process when I do it, and hopefully I can do it in one video. And, it's a lot of tedious, boring work, soldering this kind of stuff, but You want to be very careful getting this too hot. This is plastic, okay? And these terminals are metal. If you get them hot, they can sink down in there. And then when you go to turn the rotary switch, it'll bind up on that one that's sunk down in. So use a heat sink, cool it off, do one, wait 10 minutes, come back, do another one, that kind of thing, okay? How do I know? Well, I melted one the first time I tried it, so I'm just trying to pass that along and save you guys a few bucks too. I think this is going to be a very useful thing. And, you take a guitar that sounds nice. Let's say the neck pickup sounds good, but the bridge pickup's a little sharp, like a Strat or a Tele can be sometimes. You'll be able to plug the guitar into this and go through 12 different capacitors and see if you like the audible change. Again, sometimes it's very subtle, hard to hear, and other times it can be quite a difference. So basically, a capacitor in audio circuits, they use filter caps, which are electrolytic caps they're directional. There's a ground and a hot side. With ones like this, it don't matter. You can hook it up either way. So filter caps basically filter out the wall power that you plugged into and just smooths it out. Now, a capacitor that's hooked to a volume pot instantly turns into a tone pot. Let me grab a pot right here. So to put it in layman's terms, right here you got a volume pot. You turn it down, it's not loud. You turn it up, it's real loud. If you hook a capacitor into this leg over here and ground it to the back of the pot, now you have a tone control. So the capacitor is what makes it sound muddy when you turn your tone knob down. When you turn your tone knob all the way up, it gets real clear and bright and sharp. So, basically, this is like a fixed tone control, if you will. So if your pickup's real harsh and brittle, and you plug it into this little rig I'm building, you can switch through these capacitors, and if you find the right one, now you can put it in line with the pickup in the guitar without ripping the pickup out and buying another pickup. And that's really the whole science behind this. It's a really simple thing, but it is extremely useful if you're building guitars or if you're chasing tone or whatever. Sometimes you have a guitar that sounds absolutely amazing on one pickup and the other one not so much. So this will hopefully help me. This is something I've been wanting to build for quite some time. I just haven't got around to it. I was cleaning the shop there yesterday and found this, and so that's a good candidate for a pickup revoicer. So again, I'll try to document this as best I can. It's tough for me to do electrical work and document it. It's a lot of times I'm in the way of the camera, doing stuff, and it really kind of spoils the video. So anyway, thanks again for all the kind words. Like I said, we'll get into some more in-depth explanation of capacitors and which ones do what, where you should use certain ones, that kind of thing. And hopefully this will work fine, and it'll help me out again immensely. I've been really wanting to have something like this for a long time. I knew about it for a while, and I just, for some reason, I just never took on the project. So now we're engaged, at least, and should be fun. I do like building stuff like this, especially stuff that you're going to use, and hopefully it works out well. I got a few other projects going on here too. I'm trying to get ready to do some recording tomorrow with a couple guys that I've been jamming with. So I'd like to document some of that as well. Maybe after I get things set up, I'll kind of walk you through some of that process too. It's not saying it's something new or amazing. It's just the way I do things with the equipment that I have. And, it does kind of give you a generalized idea of how it works, and, mic placement, mic choice, that kind of stuff. Which mic should I put in front of my amp? Should I put it on the grill cloth? And I know there's a lot of videos out there about this stuff, but I'm going to try to document my process as well. So again, thank you so much for all the kind words and views. Welcome to the new subscribers too. It seems like there's people showing up daily. We're over 2,000 subscribers now, which is amazing. And, I have not paid for any subscriptions. I've heard of people doing it, like you can pay X amount of dollars and you'll get 1,000 subscriptions the next morning. And you can kind of figure that out by, if you click on their videos, you'll notice there might be only 2 or 3 comments. And that's because they may have 10,000 subs by then. It's just kind of, I guess, cheating. I don't know. They're doing it for money, I guess, and I'm not. So I guess I'll just leave it at that. We'll see you guys real soon. Be good. Okie doke.